Yet
He was
he
a
helped
better
y'all
off
win.
ball. He was also
Yet he helped y'all win.
I'm not. This is not. See, this is the thing. Sometimes when you hear stuff, you hear it in a way that is designated criticism.
Sometimes when you say stuff, you say it in a way that's designated to trigger people.
Ron, guess what? There's literally no way. There's literally no way you can hear my thoughts or my final point unless you let me talk.
Well, first of all, Ron, we already know that Russell Westbrook boxed himself up because he said he wants to play closer to home, right? So with him wanting to play closer to home, he's already played for the Lakers, so they out. He's already played for the Clippers, so they're out too. All right, so I think that leaves Phoenix because the Trailblazers already set with what they got going on up there. Sacramento, if they were really interested, I think they would have done something by now. The fact that they haven't done anything, I think that tells me where they are with him. Russ probably could get a deal, but I mean, Swipe and I had this conversation. Swipe, I'm not going to play for Boston for $3 million when Chris Paul is out here getting $11 million.
Wow,
I'm still really good.
What's that got to do with Russ?
What it has to do with
let another man's pocket determine your business.
Okay, and what I'm not trying to do is I'm not trying to price myself with Chris Paul and put myself in that box. But what I'm not doing is as good as I was last year, I'm not going to play somewhere else. When I say somewhere else, maybe even a lesser situation than what Denver was for a little bit of money. I'm not doing that. I'm better than the league minimum.
But the NBA doesn't think so. Remember, that's the same thing that happened with Derrick Jones Jr. after the Chicago Bulls. I wasn't on PC at the time. I was not able to grace the platform of my presence. I was a huge fan, though, at the time. Mars, Ox, Chill, everybody else, Ticket, Fluent. Who else was on the show at that time? Ox. Dub was on there. I was a huge fan of everybody I said specifically. So at this point, remember DJJ, when he was with the Chicago Bulls, remember that they had the number one defense in the NBA, Mars. You remember this. This was the day for Alex Caruso and Lonzo Ball and all that. But you know what one of their biggest lineups was the DJJ minutes at power forward that they would run in the clutch. He was killing. But then chill. I'm over here like he's balling. Remember, he got a league minimum deal from Dallas the next year. And I was like, wait a minute, how you not prioritizing somebody that can leap, can shoot, and also somebody that can rim protect like he was when he was with the Bulls. He was playing low man next to Vooch. Yep. And I'm over here, but then he got $3 million, but then he went to Dallas, had a crazy run with Luka. Who knew Luka could get you paid as a leaper, and then got $10 million a year. I'm saying, like, sometimes it's like that in the league. Like Russ, I think a lot of teams are looking at Bruce Brown saying, well, we saw what happened once you left Denver. I think they're looking at Russ saying, like, Russ was really, really, really good last year on the on-court minutes with Jokic, but without Jokic, he was really, like, back to what he was when he was with, like, Washington. I think teams are looking at this saying, how valuable is this to pay you $10 million a year? You can fill up the stat sheet. But I think the problem is, it's like, can we find production otherwhere in other places with younger players we still want to develop as opposed to a 38-year-old, if that makes sense? 37.
It does make 37. It does make sense. So he's 36 now. He'll be 37 in November. But wouldn't that be, to your point, with the Chicago Bulls, because we're in the same situation right now with Josh Giddey, well, wouldn't that be a reflection on the Chicago Bulls? Because we got a guy in Josh Giddey. I know how Mars feels about him. I'm actually a big fan of Josh Giddey, and I think he's going to be I think he's going to be, if not a triple-double guy this year, I think he's going to be close to it. And Chicago, they let DJJ walk out the front door for nothing, and he was extremely productive for them. They're basically doing the same thing right now with Josh Giddey, who could possibly be their franchise lead guard, and they're not interested in him at that price. So wouldn't that be more of a reflection on the Bulls than it is on Josh Giddey, as opposed to?
I think the Bulls have been mismanaged too. Yeah, the Zach LaVine deal, like all that stuff. Yeah, 100%.
Because I think that with Russell Westbrook, I think Russ, and I stood on this, Ron, that I feel like Russell Westbrook boxed himself up when he said he wanted to play close to home. So now that eliminates teams like Milwaukee, right? That eliminates teams like Boston. That eliminates teams like Miami, because I'm not interested in going to play that far away from home. And maybe they might pay a little bit more before you say something like that. But now that you say something like that, now that eliminates them because you're not interested in going that far away from home. So I think that it's not because Russ can't play. I think it's largely due to he's boxed himself into only being a West Coast guy. And now we have teams like the Trailblazers, the Suns, the Lakers, the Clippers. And a lot of those teams are basically, they've wrapped up what they're looking for in free agency.
Yeah. I mean, I saw that there was even, I don't know if it was like one of those jokes or whatever, but there are actually some other teams overseas that have been reaching out to Russ, you know. And I mean, I've talked about it before, y'all. I said specifically a lot of European players. I would like to start seeing more European players go back home and play overseas as they kind of get into their later years. But I wouldn't be mad at that for Russ either, though. Like Russ is a international superstar. You know what I mean? People love Russ all over the world. I think that'd be dope. Like if he doesn't get what he's looking for in the NBA, like I don't think Russ should settle for just anything. You know what I'm saying? Russ is paid. You know what I'm saying? He's had a long career. I don't think anybody should look down on it if he decided to make a move like that. Like if Russ decided to go play overseas, I think that would be.
But wouldn't that be like going against what he's saying about staying home though? If he just goes overseas,
that's what I was thinking.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, but at that point, it's kind of like if none of these teams, for instance, like if the Lakers, Clippers, Phoenix, Sacramento, Golden State, if none of that works out for you, I mean,
man,
if you're not getting that, why not? That'd be dope.
If Russ got to go play overseas. That is a shame. No, I'm saying, I'm not saying it. Well, I mean, you brought it up, so I'm just gonna touch on it. If he ends up going overseas, that would more than likely be because teams didn't extend him an offer. And if that's the case, that will be a crying shame on every single owner in the NBA.
Every single owner.
No, every single owner.
Well, there are some teams that can't use Russ.
Every single team in the NBA, shame on you. Russell Westbrook, especially after what he did last year, deserves to be in the NBA. No. And he's better than somebody on everybody's roster.
Yeah, that's not what it is, though,
that's not the point. That's not how it works, Ron. That's not how it works.
Mm-hmm.
There's that certain amount of players. Like, okay, you're better than these guys. I know I'm better than them, right? But I'm not taking that type of contract. Russ is too good for some things. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're just gonna offer me just some scraps, yeah, he's overqualified for some positions. Thank you, Chill. Exactly, he's overqualified for some positions, and Russell Westbrook shouldn't take that. So what I'm saying is not as a knock, but as a way to go into the twilight of your career. You can go play in front of some super fans in I don't know some city over there. I mean, they still playing good basketball. He still can play good basketball. When I'm saying that, I'm not looking down on going to play over there. It's kind of like when Iverson went over there. You know what I mean? On something like that.
When you saying that, I'm looking down on the owners. Once again, I said what I said, and I'm doubling down on it. Shame on every single owner. If Russell Westbrook, y'all tried to make some moves for him, allegedly. Y'all was trying to get off Malik Monk. Y'all was trying to get off Devin Carter.
But that's dumb.
With Devin Carter, that's cool.
All right, well, if you think that's dumb, shame on you too.
Malik Monk, they were trying to get rid of him because of the money. They were trying to circumvent the cap, which is why they took the SARS trade for Jonas, and then they're trying to get Malik Monk off the books. That's why they did that. That's respectfully, Ox. I'm on your side with the King of Talab. That's dumb. They're incompetent. That's what I
think that would be dumb too, Swiper. That's why I stopped talking about the Kings months ago. I haven't mentioned the Kings.
Well, you're a Lakers fan now, we know, because of Luka. But I'm saying that, like, historically, prior to that era of Ox, whoa, don't pull out the non-Jamal. So what I'm saying is, in this instance, is that Ron, like, the problem with Russ is such a ball dominant player. You need a very.
I don't want to hear this. I don't want to hear you hate on Russell Westbrook right now. No, because Russ is went everywhere. Russ has went. He's bald.
We're gonna let.
I don't remember shit.
One mic. Remember that one mic thing? Remember that one mic thing?
Hey, yeah, it's one mic. Mute yours. Mute your one mic. No, I'm not here. No, I don't want to hear this from you right now. I don't want to hear this from you. No, you are going to hate on Russell Westbrook, and I'm not going to let you get this off because everywhere he's went, including that raggedy ass city, the raggedy ass Mile High City, he helped y'all.
The problem is you have to have a roster in place to be able to utilize Russ in the proper way. I think that teams right now are not willing to take the risk.
What risk?
Plus, and we know it's a risk. And I just unmuted. Stop talking. And I muted again. By the way, I can't hear you.
What risk?
Like they're not willing to take the risk because of the play style.
What risk? Answer my question. What risk?
Even if you don't want to agree, Ron, last year he was the most inefficient mid-range jump shooter in the sport.
Yet he helped y'all win.
He was also
he helped y'all win.
I'm not. This is not. See, this is the thing. Sometimes when you hear stuff, you hear it in a way that is designated criticism.
Sometimes when you say stuff, you say it in a way that's designated to trigger people.
Ron, guess what? There's literally no way you can hear my thoughts or my final point unless you let me talk. So
if you would like Swiper, the last thing I heard from you was inefficient mid-range.
If you would like to sit in the corner and be a host,
I'm in the corner and I'm hosting.
No, you're not. You need right now. You need to let me be LeBron and you sit in the side in the corner. I'll give you the ball if I decide to.
I want to be Kyrie. I want you to go to the corner.
No. What I'm saying
I'm trying to tie the game up. I'm trying to. The game's tied. I'm trying to go 3.
When LeBron passed that ball to Kyle Korver, it was nothing but criticism. All I'm trying to do right now is score the bucket at the end of the possession. That's all I'm trying to do. No criticism attached. I'm saying Russ is still a good player, Ron. Is that fair?
Yes.
Now you can speak, and then now you can mute mic again. All I'm saying is that with Russ, the way he plays, you would argue, Ron. I think you would argue that the way he plays still leans into a star level kind of play, meaning on ball all the time, not a super efficient player, but still a good passer. He's still a good connected player. He can still be a defensive playmaker. I think you can agree those are the things that he does like the best at this point. But then the question you have to ask yourself, for 37 years old, do you want that on your roster, knowing what it will be, as opposed to having a younger player you feel that might need to grow and develop? I think that's the argument for some of these teams that are not playoff level teams. So that's what I want you to put both of those things together. Do you think that can be combined? Go ahead.
Yeah, you're talking about development, and you're also talking about a guy that's been around the block multiple times. You're talking about a guy who gets marked by the media and fans as a bad teammate when that narrative has been dispelled. Russell Westbrook's one of the best teammates in the locker room guys that you can have. I've heard that plenty of times, and y'all can act like y'all haven't heard that.
Bad teammate
was from David Miniman.
I'm not acting. I just never heard that.
Wait, Ron.
The media said they're
bad teammate. I've never heard that.
The media. I've never heard a teammate say anything bad about.
There was a moment in time where Russell Westbrook
this last season is the only time I heard that, Ron. This last season, I did hear some rumors.
After KD left, they tried to paint Russ as a bad teammate, and he's the reason why.
Even though none of those guys are okay.
Why are you guys doing this today?
I don't remember. That's all I'm saying.
No, stop it.
Ron, maybe you know something I don't. I just don't remember. That's all I'm saying.
I don't remember hearing none of them do.
You in NBA media. You got the pass. You behind the scenes. How I know something that you don't know?
No, Ron,
you know what I was
doing in OKC, real quick, Swiper. What I did,
Ron, you were overseas living the life in Turkey and whatnot, getting turkey baddies. I was in school with one desk, not knowing what I didn't know what I was doing in the world. So I wasn't aware that people thought he was a bad teammate. That's all I'm saying.
But Swiper, even to what Ron's trying to pull, don't let him pull that on you. Because even in OKC, they weren't saying Russ was a bad teammate. They were saying that it was on the court stuff why him and KD couldn't come together. It was on the court, him looking KD off. They never said anything about him in the locker room being a bad teammate. I did hear this season some rumblings, but that's the only time. Most of the time what we hear about Russ is more positive, his will to win, his desire to win. And sometimes that his desire to win kind of overtakes, you know what I'm saying? It oversteps him playing good basketball. Ron, I just want to say, I think Russ is caught in just in a funny place right now, like caught in a pickle, like in between third and second base. You know what I'm saying? You're going back and forth. You know what I mean? Because he's not good enough anymore to be that superstar player he once was, but at the same time, he's better than a lot of bench players. He's like a tweener. What do they call that? A conundrum or something? I don't know. What is that the right word, Mars?
Man, he can start for the Miami Heat.
I don't know. He's
absolutely
no. I would love him. I would love him in Miami. I would love him in Miami.
Davion Mitchell, respect.
Absolutely, I would love him in Miami.
Is their starting league guard if he's down in Miami.
Matter of fact, me and
Tyler Hero be better.
Me and Chill talked about that. That him and Davion Mitchell will be a great 1-2 punch just because of the tenacity they play with and all that. But I do think so. To your point, bro, I'm with you on that. There are some teams that I think Russell fit perfectly, Miami being one of them. But at the same time, I still believe that he's not necessarily good enough to be a starter on most teams, but he's too good to just be sitting around. I think he's overqualified for a job and not good enough for another. That's the only reason I'm saying, like, maybe it might be time. Maybe Russ might got to realize, look, a ring's not happening for me. Maybe it's time to go do my, the Twilight tour. Go let the world see my talents. Go play over in the Euro League. Go play in China. Go play over here. Just have fun with basketball. Because Russ a real hooper. He doesn't deserve this. Russ does not deserve to be looked down on.
We see it eye to eye now. We see it eye to eye.
He doesn't deserve to just be discarded and kicked around like a can. He needs to go where he can be appreciated.
But if he played in the EuroLeague right now, October, he would be the greatest thing that's ever done. I mean, maybe ever touched the league.
So why not? That's what I'm saying. Because Russ a real hooper. Go play ball. Go have fun. Go enjoy basketball.
I really don't.
You know the numbers Russ would put up on Olympiacos, Ron.
Does Russ game
28, 15, and 12. And 4.
Russ's game conducive? Wow, we wild as hell.
I'm just like, but
could you imagine them trying to stop him from driving to the rim, dog? You see what Stephon Marbury when he went over to Japan and then what he did with them, bro. He would become
that's China to me.
I know China, but you know he would be an idol.
Hey, if Russ gonna do anything, go to China. If that's the case, don't go to the EuroLeague, go to China. But
EuroLeague was still competitive.
All I want to say is, early in the season last year, for the first half of the season, maybe like the first 3 quarters of the season, Russ was in the 6th man of the year runnings. He literally was a role player. Like Sniper, you paint him as a guy that can't play a role. He did that last year.
Said that?
And he did it. No, because you said he was a ball dominant guy. That's the only reason why I'm saying that. But last year he wasn't being ball dominant.
He still was.
Until Jamal Murray went down, he was not being. Him and Jokic it was at one moment in time.
They looked good, but
they looked amazing. Their 2-man game was amazing.
No, I already acknowledged that though. But with Jokic, if you look at the data, you can literally go to Data Baller and look at what he was with Jokic. He was like, yes, a very good player. What I'm saying is, Ron, do you think it's fair? I'm asking Ron, do you think it's fair that other teams are looking at what's happened in Denver with the free agents as of late, that when you've left that situation, they've been diminished versions of themselves? And remember, the reputation Russ had going into Denver, to be fair, remember, when I was advocating for him to go to Denver, a lot of people were saying no because of the reputation he had with the Clippers and the inefficiency stuff and the turnover stuff, and then the reputation he had prior to that with what happened with the Wizards towards the end. And with the Lakers and all that stuff. I'm saying the Lakers media cartel nonsense. So he came into Denver with people not really thinking he was going to have a lot of value, and then he re-upped his value, Ron. But I'm saying, do you think it's fair that teams are wondering, can he still kind of have this level of impact without Jokic? When without Jokic this last year, they lost their minutes. I'm saying the on-court stuff. Yeah, the on-court stuff. That's what I'm talking about. And Ron, I think that has to matter. The same thing with Bruce Brown. That's literally the same thing happened to Bruce Brown.
So Russell Westbrook didn't get good until he got with Jokic.
No, it's not. See,
no, that's not what I said. No, that's not what I said. That's not what I said.
Did I say that?
No, you did not say
that. I just want to make sure. Because a host is supposed to listen and interpret information and then give it back out to you as you said it. And ask questions based on that. Not this hyperbole of him defending Russell Westbrook with his life and honor, like it's his blood family member. I think
that we're in a space with Russell Westbrook now where he's getting compared to Russ of old instead of older Russ. But I mean when I say that, here's why. Here's why. Where we are right now with Russ isn't, even though he did box himself up and say that he wanted to play closer to home, there hasn't been a lot of interest because he's older. And because what he used to be able to do, that's what we're comparing him to. The ball dominant, super hype athlete, bucket getting, rebounding, getting up and down the floor guard, instead of him segueing into, which he did really well in Denver, which he did really well with the Clippers, segueing into that rotation guard, which has been really good. But now I feel like we're still comparing him to what he used to be instead of accepting who he is now and how much better he can be. And I think that he's getting a bad rap for that.
EuroLeague is calling your name, Russ.
I think it's more of the fact it's post Lakers, post LeBron. Russ, to me, that I think messes not messed his career, but made it where we look at him differently. If he doesn't go to the Lakers, I don't think he'll be in this situation. I think he'll be signed. We'll have no problem. That's what I think of.
What do you think about what do you think about him playing with the Lakers? Screwed him up.
Playing with LeBron, I don't think they just didn't fit. That's all it came down to.
Remember, Bron and AD had got hurt. They got hurt, and the Lakers were playing bad, and they playing like they scapegoated Russ. Like if AD and Bron are both hurt, it's like AD and Bron are both hurt. How is this Russ's fault? That's the risk you take joining that franchise. When you become a part of the Laker media cartel, you will get scapegoated, and that's what happened.
I think playing LeBron, you'll get scapegoated, bro.
100% for sure. Okay. But so it's a double scapegoat. You with the Lakers and with LeBron, and AD hurt. You know what I'm saying?
Everything on the microscope, for sure.
Luka better be careful, man.